From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonder's Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another scintillating edition of the Wow Report, where we count down the top 10 things of the week that make us go wow.
Wow.
Right, that is Tom Campbell, Chief Creative Officer of World of Wonder, with James St. James, legendary literary sensation.
Woo!
And myself, Fenton.
Oh, wait,
Bailey.
Tom, where are you?
Never mind me. Okay, get on with it.
You're the big reveal, but Tom, where are you?
It's a city called Pacoima.
And Fenton, where are you?
I'm in London.
Is that near Pacoima? Is that near Pacoima?
Very near, yeah. But let that not keep us from counting down the reason why you're here, the top 10 things of the week that made us go, wow. And we start, as usual, at number 10, Tom.
Number 10.
Hacks. It's back, season 4, after its Emmy sweep, after it finally knocked the bear out of winning the comedy.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
it makes no sense. For that alone, Hacks deserves, a gold star. I have to say, I don't know if it was my mood. I hesitated a couple of days to watch it. I was just a little nervous that it might not be good.
I didn't like it. I thought it was too mean-spirited. I couldn't get into her this season.
But you watched both, right?
No, I only watched the first one.
Oh, I was nervous that it wasn't going to be good. And then, for those who don't remember, it left with Hannah Einbinder, game over character, blackmailing Deborah Vance, Jean Smart's character, into being her head writer. But, the whole 3 seasons have been about struggling to redefine Deborah, to sort of make her bigger, to make her more, modern and all these kind of things. And they've worked together and they fought together. And now they've gotten the holy grail, right? The late night talk show. And what does success do to friendships? What does success do to mentors and mentees? And I have to tell you, by the end of the second episode, I think you had to go dark. It's also transitioned now from Vegas to LA. They have all these tropes. These are the highlights from the first 2 episodes, because I won't go through plot by plot. At one point, they're fighting, and Deborah sees Paul Downs, who's the agent, and he says about Hannah that she's a C-U-N-T. She uses the real word. And so when Paul Downs goes to see Hannah, his client, he goes, Deborah just called you the C word, and not in a cool RuPaul way, but in an angry boomer way. Love that.
There, you've arrived. Your work is complete.
Exactly. And then at one point, the network publicist comes up, and she introduces herself to Deborah when she's in a really bad mood, and her name is Cece Homo. And it takes everything for Deborah to hold it inside and say, how do you spell that? She goes, Heaumeaux. That makes me laugh. If you remember last season, Deborah had a very surprising affair with Tony Goldwyn's character, Bob Lipka, the head of the network. And she got the job, and that's the bribe that Hannah used. She goes, I don't think people would want to know that you slept with the head of the network right before you got the late night job. And so there's a big launch party at his house. It's so Hollywood. It's so big. Deborah meets his wife. And at one point, Tony Goldwyn comes up to her, and he's talking about his neighbors. And, they love that you're here. They're both gay. You know that they're 60 and they're in an open relationship? He has all these sort of come on lines, and there's still chemistry between them, and they're sparking. And she goes, I need to use the bathroom. He goes, porta potties for the guests. You get to go inside. So they go into his empty, beautiful mansion. He closes the door. You think they're going to make it out. And he says, what happened at that golf retreat never happened. It was just a great, they mix it up. They do drama, they do comedy. And then, okay, last thing is addition of a new character. You remember the crazy, Paul Downs had that crazy assistant who's now his partner in management?
Yeah.
Her so much that she has hired Randy, who was until the last week an Hasidic Jew, and has only seen one movie in the last week of her whole life, and that was Speed, and she references a lot, but she knows more about show business than they do. She's like, this business, I can't do it with this business kind of thing. It's hilarious, and it's played by Robbie Hoffman, who's this really funny, up and coming to me lesbian comic who's also, remember I told you Dying to Love, the Michelle Williams Hulu series about the woman who's dying of cancer?
Yes, yeah.
She, in one of her sexual encounters and ongoing characters, she meets this dominatrix played by lesbian Robbie Hoffman. So Robbie Hoffman is hot. You heard it here first.
All right, James. Number 9.
Number 9.
I watched the first episode of Your Friends and Neighbors, the new series with John Hamm on Apple TV. And the reason why I watched the first episode was because I don't have Apple TV. I thought if you had Apple products, you had Apple TV. I just thought that was it. But that's not the case. They gave me one episode, and then they said to keep watching, you need to pay $2.99. And I'm trying to get less on my bill is $250 a month. So.
Why in the name of God do people begrudge $2.99 a month, less than you spend on a parking meter?
Because the fact of the matter is
millions of dollars worth.
Now, I know this is personal to you because that's like the price of Wow Presents Plus or something like that. But the thing is my cable bill is $280 a month. Like I'm trying to go down. I'm trying to get rid of shit.
James, we need to meet on the weekend, hold hands around a tree, and promise that we're going to cancel our cable. I have the same situation.
I know. Everyone always just says, well, you just go through Hulu and YouTube and then Sling TV, and you're like, what? I don't know. I don't know how to do any of that. But we're getting away from the fact that I watched this show.
Well, one episode, but go ahead anyway.
Yeah, no. But the first episode sort of lays it all out for you. It's John Hamm, who I love to see John Hamm, and he's playing a man his own age. It's very refreshing. He's a divorce. He's recently divorced. He's recently fired hedge fund manager, and he has all these problems with money. And his ex-wife is Amanda Peet. I love Amanda Peet. I love seeing Amanda Peet on the TV screen again. His side piece is Olivia Munn. I love Olivia Munn. So in that case, we've got a great cast, and it's sort of a great premise where he's in debt. His kids need money. His ex-wife needs money. He's got 3 houses that he's got to take. Blah 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 blah. And so he ends up stealing from his neighbors, his wealthy neighbors. He's in this sort of wealthy enclave, and he just breaks into their houses and steals to fund this lavish lifestyle of his. And we know in the very first scene, he wakes up and he's next to a dead body. He's covered in blood. And so we know that things go terribly wrong in these burglaries of his. And then the rest of it is, well, how did I get here type thing, The problem with it is that it is very heavily dependent on voiceover narration. And to me, if every scene is a voiceover, that's sort of sloppy narrative writing style to me. If you're too dependent on a voiceover, that means you aren't really showing the people, you're telling the people. And that's sort of a
you used to be James completionist St. James, and now you're James one and done St. James.
Well, I'm giving it 7 out of 10 wows.
Okay.
So, because like I said, I like seeing John Hamm on TV again. And the reason he gets fired is because he fucks someone in the company. It's fun and it's sexy and it's good. For someone who is as handsome as he is, he could just do, adventure and action movies and stuff like that, but he does comedy. And for someone with as big a penis as he is, he's awfully self-effacing.
I thought we were going to get this whole segment done without mentioning that. But...
The boiled ham in the ham hock in his pants.
All right, well, that's on Apple. Number 8.
Number 8.
We do text each other about what we're going to talk about. And invariably, whatever James says he's going to talk about, he doesn't talk about. But that aside, one of the little debates we had was, were we going to talk about the Blue Origin trip to space with Katy Perry and blah, 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 blah. Gayle King and
Lauren Sanchez.
Thank you, Lauren Sanchez, yes. And we decided no, because that would be too mean. So anyway, Space Farce. I thought it was such a good title. Got to use it. That's about all I've got. Regardless of what you think about the Blue Origin caper, it did give rise to some amazing commentary. Some of the best commentary I've ever seen on the interwebs. I think my favorite is Marina Hyde in The Guardian, The headline read, "What's more vacuous than an endless vacuum? Lauren Sanchez and Katy Perry's party in space." She goes on from there, it just gets worse. She goes on from there to say, you've heard of one small step for man. This was one giant leap backwards for women. Which I think is quite good. And, a lot of people on Twitter saying that this was a slightly, given what's happening on Earth, a slightly Marie Antoinette type moment.
It's a little tone deaf. Yes, sending, a billionaire sending celebrities into space.
The tone deaf award of the month goes to them for sure. And the more serious memes are like, we're celebrating these women who are in space for 8 minutes, whatever it was, when literally through DEI erasure, they're taking down things on websites and factoids and history of female astronauts who actually trained and know what they're doing, and we're just like tourists in space.
Or they're getting fired.
Or they're getting even worse.
I do think this moment will be remembered as one of those moments. Marie Antoinette let them in cake, and Jeff Bezos' fiance is cosplaying as an astronaut, because she wants to be called an astronaut. And I don't think 3 minutes in space really counts.
They didn't even to be an astronaut, you have to go past the barrier into space.
They did go past the Klarman line. They did.
I'm going first class to Boston, but I'm not a pilot. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just sat there and.
What about the woman who spent 455 days in actual space?
Well, that's just it. Like, why are we not? When she gets off and she, gives the thumbs up, but Katy Perry gets off and kisses the ground after singing "It's a Wonderful Life" for 6 minutes. Being trapped in a confined space with Katy Perry singing "It's a Wonderful Life"
and releasing the set list to her fucking tour.
It was, in terms of sort of tone deafness, I think it was sort of weirdly inverted genius, right? I mean, it's like you couldn't script it. Actually, they did script it. The morning show, they actually had her.
You're right.
Yes, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, but the new thing is that it's the new conspiracy theory is that the whole thing was AI and that none of it is true, and they have all sorts of reasons why that's not true. We never saw them. We see them in space, but we never see them as they blast off. And then when they come down, the space pod is like immaculately white as opposed to the woman who had been in space.
Well, that was partly because, James, it wasn't in space for long enough and the atmosphere was thin. So as it re-entered, it didn't get
conspiracy.
But there's also a fabulous one that the sort of whole MAGA people incensed because they think it was a satanic ritual, because the emblem on their uniforms, if you I love it so much, if you turn it upside down, it's Baphomet.
They see Baphomet everywhere, don't they? Like every time you turn around, it's like Baphomet is like for MAGA. They love him so much.
And I'll just say to Gayle King, who I love still, don't try so hard. Like she went so hard defending herself. And there's this new thing, and it comes from the talk show, and it comes from Oprah, who I've learned a lot from in my life, and I also respect Oprah. But everyone needs to infuse everything that they do with intense, immediate meaning. Like 6 minutes, I was on the ground. 6 minutes later, my life had changed. I face my fears. I am a new person. I can do anything.
And then she turns around and says, "Have you ever been to space?" And it's like, no, we aren't billionaire celebrities. Like, stop it. Yeah. No, I found Gayle to be a little icky as well. I'm sorry.
Well, there is more space caper coming because a company called Above Space Corporation. I mean, what a ridiculous! The Above Space Corporation. Where is
there
Above?
Is no Above Space.
Here's space, and here's Above Space. Okay, got
it. And their sort of slogan is more space in space.
Is that about legroom?
More space, because they want to develop the space-based economy. I mean, the number of times you can use the word space. They have merch. They're looking for money. They're going to build a 400-guest rotating hotel with spas and a cinema in space, and it's going to cost
fun.
People say these aren't equivalencies, But that's happening, and we're taking away school lunches. I know that they don't
No,
necessarily.
yeah. I mean, you have a point. I mean,
But if you do want to check out Above Space, I have been howling with laughter all day because they also have a podcast, and episodes of the podcast are called "Could Robots Be Soft Like an Octopus?" I mean, who's writing this shit? This could be an SNL sketch. Future forecasting into the multiverse. You just got to go to the Above Space website, abovespace.com, and they have merch. Yeah, they have a T-shirt that space is for cats. So Tom,
now suddenly he's right there. School lunches, who cares? Outdoor kitty needs to go to space.
more importantly, hello's final 4 episodes starring the season 17 top 4 premieres next week on Monday to Thursday, with a new episode every day, hosted by Karen Thrax, winner of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Series 6. And that, of course, is only on Wow Presents Plus.
And wait, isn't tonight the night that Liza is on?
Tonight is the grand finale of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Very exciting.
What are the call signs that Gayle King, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez used when they went to space in the Blue Origin, whatever it was?
What are call signs? I don't think I know what they are. What, you mean like what their names were?
Yeah, it's kind of like, the presidents have
like
names.
the foxes in the hen house type thing, like when he's when he arrives at the house. Yeah, okay.
I see. All right. We'll have that answer right after the break here on the Wow Report.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. Fenton here with Tom and James and Blake.
Fenton just talked in the last segment about the Blue Origin rocket that went to space. What were the call signs used by Lauren Sanchez, Gayle King, and Katy Perry on that trip?
Lauren Sanchez would be boobies out, booby ooby. Boobarella, yeah, Booby Tuesday.
Close. She was double shot.
No, was she really?
Yeah, double
and
shot.
Katy Perry would be Kitty Girl or something like that.
She was
Roar.
Feather.
What was Gayle King? Gayle was Munchy Munch or something. Marky Mark and the Munch.
Sunshine. Because she's the morning.
Did you see how dour she was the entire time? that frowny face. She was no ray of sunshine. Give me a break. I like Booby Tuesday better for Sanchez.
We are counting down the top 10 things of the week that make us go wow, and we've reached number 7.
Number 7.
Saturday was my birthday.
Oh, I did not know. Did you have a party and didn't invite me?
It was a big party. Thank you, everyone who came. No, I'm kidding. I didn't have a party.
Fenton, Blake, thank you so much for the presents.
Exactly. Fenton and Ray did give me a beautiful, beautiful piece of pottery, a bowl. So thank you very much. It bowled me away. True. But birthdays don't mean that much to me. It just so happened that a friend and someone I've been able to have the luxury of working with, Cheyenne Jackson, was performing on April 12th, and I bought tickets months ago, and it was a table for 4 at the Seacrest Center in Costa Mesa, and I invited my friends Laura and my friends Greg and my friend Scott. And because I'm a good homosexual, I have really good friends. They don't always all know each other really well. You know what I mean? It's like I have I don't know why, but I have people I've collected along the way.
Everybody's in silos.
And all 3 of them are incredibly close friends. And I brought them together. They've met each other, but we had a table. And for those, I'm always surprised that people who don't know who Cheyenne Jackson is, we know Cheyenne Jackson.
Oh, so wonderful.
You could be shallow with Cheyenne and just bask in his beauty. He is a movie star from the Rock Hudson era. He has the most handsome, masculine face, jet black hair, a torso, beautiful, just a beautiful man.
Eyes, those blue eyes.
Yes. He also, you can love his heart because he has a husband. They have 2 beautiful children. If you follow him on Instagram, you get little insights into their life. It's not exploitive. It's just beautiful. And they have such love in their lives and they seem so happy. And then you go and see him live. Because the first time I saw him was in Xanadu on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
When he was in roller skates, a red tank top, and cutoff shorts.
Yes. Oh, my God.
I guess he has beautiful eyes. I never got past the thighs. Thank you very much. But I mean, I knew then, but you're reminded when you see him perform. He performs around the country, so you should look Cheyenne Jackson, see where he might be coming.
What exactly is the show? What kind of
cabaret? He tells his life story.
It's a one-woman show, basically.
Yes, but he's a great storyteller. Tells amazing stories. It's updated, but it's something he's been working on for years. And his voice is the voice of an angel on earth. He has such control. He holds notes piercingly and then just gives it a little vibrato at the end. He goes high into his false, his head voice is false. It's just remarkable. And his choice of songs. He sang like Edge of Glory by Gaga with like he has just a pianist, by the way. It's just a pianist. And he just rocked the shit out of it just with his voice and the piano. So amazing.
I have just a very quick Cheyenne Jackson story where I was at a dinner party. Gosh, this was probably about 2 years ago. And I didn't realize that he was there, but I was at one table and I think he was at a table further on down the way. And, I was and I was sort of table hopping, but I didn't get to his table. And at one point I was leaving and I started to walk out of the restaurant and into the sort of foyer of, I guess, the Standard Hotel is what it was. And he came racing out after me and he said, James, I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to stop by your table and sit and chat for a while. I apologize. Please forgive me. And I didn't even know that he knew me. I was just blown away. And I just sort of and he said, he was right in my face and just apologizing for not spending time with me. And I thought that is the sign of I've loved him ever since. I will never not love him for saying he didn't spend time with me. Wow. Before he came to Hollywood, he was in Seattle and he was sort of a little club kid in Seattle. And I have friends who remember him as a very young club goer. And he was just a young twink in Seattle and everyone knew Cheyenne. Yeah. And everyone in Seattle, he's still sort of the hometown boy who's done good in Hollywood.
The last thing you should know is on, I believe, December 8th of this year, he will be doing his first ever one-man show at Carnegie Hall. So Cheyenne, practice. Cool. I think I'm going to go. I got to go. Good.
Yeah, in the meantime, you can see him June 21st and 22nd at Feinstein's at the Nico. Is it the Nico or the Nico? The Nico in San Francisco.
Yeah, I would love to see him. He's fabulous.
Mwah. Love you, Cheyenne.
Number 666, James.
Number 6.
Well, I'm going to continue on with the hot guy theme for this segment here because Screen Rant ranked the 12 greatest boy bands of all time in order. And I want to read them to you. I want to read 12 to 1 and see if you think they should be higher or lower on the list because I have some thoughts. Okay, number 12 is Big Time Rush.
Who cares?
Who? It was a Nickelodeon show from 2009, I think, to 2014. I think they should be number 74 because I've never heard of them. I don't care anything about them. Right? Now, this is interesting. Number 11 is Menudo. Outrageous because Menudo's the influence they have had, the global reach they have had.
They are the boy band.
They are the templates. So
they gave us Ricky Martin, and for that alone, they should be top 5.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they should definitely be top 3, maybe. New Edition is number 10. Cool it now. You've got to cool it now. They gave us Bobby Brown. They were really big in the day. I love New Edition. Number 9 is New Kids on the Block. And I think they should probably be a little bit higher up, don't you? Because they were huge.
I agree. It's hard to know without the next ones, but yeah, I feel like they should be closer.
Well, here you go, because number 8, Tom, Jackson 5 is number 8. Now,
Oh, I feel like they are kind of the influence for so many bands. And the
Mhm.
Michael Jackson of it alone, just the fact that they launched Michael Jackson. And Michael
Yeah.
Jackson's the most talented human being that ever lived. And we got to see him as a 5-year-old, like wailing and singing.
But they
I'll
aren't
be
really
there.
a boy band. I'm sorry to quibble, because even though they're all male, they're all family members, and a boy band almost, to me, by definition, has been put together by a Svengali.
There's something sort of pre-pubescent sexuality burgeoning about them, and I don't see them.
Right.
My sister had Jackson 5 versus Osmond poster back and forth on her wall. There was a lot of a girl.
Right.
Number 7 is BTS, the K-pop band.
Sure.
I'll give them number 7. That's fine. I don't know any K-pop. I don't know any BTS songs right off the top of my head. So they don't. I was probably 50 when they came out, so that they do not speak to my generation. Number 6 is 98 Degrees, which I think is a little high for number 6.
Yes.
So
Is
having
this a
them
British-
above
is this a
Menudo.
British survey? Is this a British survey?
No,
How dare you?
It feels
But
off.
98
It feels like
Degrees-
another land.
anyway,
That is insufficient qualification. Every single band in the top 12 so far has been bigger than 98 Degrees. Sorry.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, number 5 is the Jonas Brothers, and I feel like that's probably the Joe Bros for this generation, for this
but it's a
century.
historical document. They've I know that there's a certain generation. I find their songs, and I do know them, and I do listen to the radio, but they could be any. They feel like demos. They don't feel like any star power behind them. Oops, I've just pissed off Gayle King and the Jonas Brothers. The show. Keep going.
And if you're family, I'm sorry, you're disqualified. It's not family members. That's a family band.
He has his own rules, and he lives by them. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, now number 4 is Boyz II Men, and I find them to be the most lugubrious, funereal, dirge-like.
Yeah,
Horrible.
No,
Get them out of here! Get them out of here!
No comment next.
Number 3 is NSYNC, and I sort of think NSYNC should be number 1. I just do. I think
Keep going,
NSYNC.
keep going. They should definitely. They're up there. They're big.
Okay. Number 2 is One Direction.
Okay.
I think they could tie with NSYNC for number 1 personally, and
Okay.
number 1 is Backstreet Boys, which
I'm outraged. This list has to be.
this is what I want. I want outrage. Yes, keep going.
Take that. Where is Take That?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yes, but Take That. That was 90s. That was huge. I want you back.
Yes.
I want you back for good. And they spawned Robbie Williams and Gary Barlow is
Very Barlow. Go on to number 5.
Number 5.
Sperm Race, the world's first sperm race. So, spend too much time scrolling on the Instagram, looking for things. And I came across this thing of this sort of nerdy, handsome young man being a TV reporter. So I was like, oh, okay. And he goes up to people, students on a campus, with a cup and says, can you fill this with your kids? I don't know. What? Is he saying and he was saying what I think he was saying. And so what do I do when I don't know what to make of something? I send it to James St. James because I thought he would tell me. He'd like, oh, of course, darling, don't you know?
It's amazing, darling. Yes, of course. We do it all the time. Every other day at World of
James
Wonder.
sent the cup to me.
We do 4th floor versus 2nd floor at World of Wonder.
Big gulps. Yeah, I know. But apparently it's real. I thought it was just a bad sketch because the guy on Instagram called himself Dick Gay. And I thought it was just some sort of funny, not really funny thing. He said he was a sperm race recruiter. But if you go to spermracing.com, it's actually a real race. And the real race is being held on Friday, April 25th, 1 week from today, at the Hollywood Palladium. And you can actually go buy tickets. Now, here's a problem. If it's a sperm race, apparently they build a special track, but you won't be able to see it without some kind of microscope. And not actually, you need an electron microscope.
Is there like a giant ovum that they're racing into or something like that?
I think they build a special track, a womb with a view. And no, I don't know what the...
well, there has to be a giant screen with a microscope that you're seeing that actually race down a track.
Right.
When you first said this, my mind went that it was basically a jack-off contest, and it was to see who could ejaculate first. That's what I thought a sperm race was. And I thought, isn't that just really premature ejaculation? But now I know it's actually, we're watching those little fighters, those little swimmers.
Yes. And apparently,
and are the swimmers, is it just like a trough that you're just pouring the sperm into and who gets to the end first? Or is it actually the actual microscopic sperm that are doing the racing?
It's two guys from, I think, 2 different universities, 2 samples, in other words, 2 tracks. 1 sample goes in one track, 1 sample goes in the other. The electron microscope magnifies it, and you see the sperm swimming along, and the first to cross the line wins.
I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to Google a lot, because is sperm like, you know how turtles always like go east or something? They always go, do sperm, like, what makes a sperm not go backwards or take a left? Or
some do go backwards, and some don't have any tails.
And I thought that if the sperm was in air for too long, it dies. I thought that it can't be outside of.
James, you obviously have to talk to the producers of the Sperm Race, because you have many valid concerns about how are they going to keep the sperm fresh, invigorated, ready to start. But the serious cause underpinning this, apparently, is it is a motility awareness campaign, because the human sperm count has fallen by more than 50% around the world in the last 50 years, according to a 2022 study. I don't know how they proved this, but we are in, as it were, mortal danger.
Is this a Netflix special? Is this a live event? Do we get like, who's that guy that boxed, do we get like YouTube stars?
Mr. Beast. Yes.
Is it Blake versus James St. James? Should they go to the Palladium and just see who's got the...
Girl, my sperm are like old men with with white beards like Tom, with canes that are hobbling. That when there's like just a big puff of dust that comes out of my urethra.
Okay, too much information. Tickets are $50 each, unless you get a VIP standing room only ticket, which is $2,500. I mean, none of this makes sense. And apparently they've raised over $1 million for this whole shebang. And there you go.
Well, I do hope that we have a follow-up after the show.
Blake, do you have a question?
I do.
Is it sperm related?
No, it's not, thankfully. The other day I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and one of the queens was wearing a dress that was RuPaul's favorite color. And I was like, I never knew that was RuPaul's favorite color. What is it?
We'll have the answer right after the break here on the Wow Report.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I just want to say it is Good Friday, of course. And in addition to the finale of season 17 of Drag Race tonight, you can also see Behind the Velvet Ropes, episodes 1 to 10 on Wow Presents Plus. This is a legendary show, public access show from the 90s, hosted by Laura Nazersky, where she went out to clubs in Manhattan and interviewed the celebritantes, obviously, like James St. James, and also incredible designers.
Yeah, it was one of the, like with Elsa Clench, she was one of the first people to be behind the scenes at fashion shows and talking to Karl Lagerfeld and Alexander McQueen. I mean, just fascinating stuff. It's a great, great show, and she is quite the personality.
I think we have to have her on the show, actually. And we've found the original episodes. We've restored them in a special technological marvel. And so, yeah, you can watch that too on Wow Presents Plus, along, of course, with the finale of Drag Race 17. If you're outside the US, you can watch it on Wow Presents Plus. If you're inside the US, MTV is where you got to go. All right, Blake, you had a question.
I sure did. And I asked, what is RuPaul's favorite color?
I think I remember this. I vaguely saw it online as well. Is it purple?
No.
Benton?
God, this is so embarrassing. It's not green, is it?
No.
Notice the way I frame it as like, it's not. So, okay, I'm right. It's not.
Yeah. Aren't you glad that?
Oh, yes. It's that tangerine orange. Yes,
That's
yes.
it.
It's my
I
favorite.
thought that might be the reason that WoW was orange, but obviously it's just a lot of people's favorite color.
I wonder why why people love orange so much.
Hmm.
I love the orange flavored Starburst, especially. It's the best flavor.
I love a gift that comes in an orange Hermes bag.
Moving on. Number 4.
Number 4.
Toothgate. More importantly, I just want to reiterate that if you haven't seen Saturday Night Live this past week, we talk about it every week. It reminds, when I was in junior high and high school, we used to come in Monday and talk about Saturday Night Live, like play for play, like it was thing. And I feel like we do that a lot here. It was an excellent episode. The best sketch I've ever seen on Saturday Night Live was their White Lotus parody, and they called it White POTUS. And they told the Trump administration story through the characters. And one of the jokes, one of the characters was they recreated the Aimee Lou Wood, who played the character, who is the lovely actress who's been applauded for her natural but unusual looking teeth by today's standards of having fake teeth. And one of the actresses in Saturday Night Live had really exaggerated
Sarah Sherman
teeth. And in a week when we basically become a fascist society because we no longer have there's no due process and the people get sent to prison for no reason. This has become a story, and I'm giving it more air, so blame me. But like, it's called a comedy sketch, and it's a caricature of who you are. Now, if you've ever been to Sardi's in New York, which is the great theater.
Wait a minute, you're coming down on the side of Saturday Night Live in their.
I just think it's a nothing burger. I want to introduce a new weekly status called the Nothing Burger. Things that get talked about that we'll talk about again that really don't have a lot of gravitas. And I'm not even braving Aimee Lou Wood. I don't know how much, so much of these things are extracted from like one sentence and turned into headlines. And then we judge the headline and we throw people aside. But I think she's known for her, unusual teeth. They show her unusual teeth. It is a sketch about the Trump administration and caricature Carol Channing and, Jimmy Durante's nose and Groucho Marx's eye,
Boy, I love your references are all from like the 1890s.
Well, that's where I grew up. I grew up as a kid. I loved it. I mean, when the milkman would come to the house.
Though, can I give a counterpoint for one
You
second?
may, but I say it's a nothing burger. Go on.
Okay. It was a brilliant sketch when they were focusing on the Trump and Melania is the Parker Posey character, and then Pam Bondi is one of the three friends. All of that, and it stayed on topic, and it was topical, and it was the political punchlines. And then out of the blue, they just sort of made fun of Aimee Lou Wood's mouth and her teeth. And the thing is that Aimee Lou has gone on record saying that when she heard that HBO fought against her casting and that Mike White had to fight for her to be cast, she thought it was because she was so ugly. She said that she was made to feel unattractive when she heard that. And so it's obviously a bit of a bugaboo with her. It's something that's in her mind. And for her there was no other logic to having her be made fun of. It wasn't part of the political sketch. It was just, let's make fun of her teeth. So to me, I kind of understand why she took offense to it. And then Saturday Night Live sent her the apology. They apologized to her. They called Sarah Sherman called and apologized to her and said she was very sorry. But to me, Michael Alig used to do this to me all the damn time, and it infuriates me. It's called the public humiliation and the private apology. That's what I call it. Michael would go on stage and say the nastiest things about me on stage with a microphone, and then backstage whisper in my ear, "I'm so sorry if I offended you." And it's like, what good does that do? Go out on stage and apologize. I don't want a private apology and a public humiliation, which is what Saturday Night Live did.
I'm trying to think of who it was who said, if you've got a hump on your back, throw a little glitter on it and go out dancing.
But that's Aimee Lou. If Aimee Lou wants to do that, that's up to her. It's not
It's
up
comedy. This is where you lose me. This is when we're snowflakes. laugh, move on, feel uncomfortable, move on, nothing burger.
Well, to your point, I have always said that you're famous when Saturday Night Live makes fun of you, when you were an answer on Jeopardy, and when there's another, I can't remember, but that is one of the things. If you're made fun of,
when you're mentioned on the Wow Report was the third.
When you're mentioned on the Wow Report.
And either way, regardless, she is a fantastic character and a brilliant actress and
a beautiful woman. She really, I mean, I love her. Totally. I think she's just gorgeous. Yeah. She's got those eyes, and she's not the standard, yeah.
Number three.
In the same vein as Tom, I want to talk about something else that's outraging me, the return of the R word online. And I'm going to say it once and then just keep referring it to as the R word, just so you know what I'm talking about. Retard. And it seems to me that after 40 or 50 years of a moratorium on it, it's back, and it's suddenly ubiquitous among a certain crowd on X and different social media platforms.
What crowd? I ask. What crowd?
Well, here you go. Because my favorite living writer, Joyce Carol Oates, who is very prolific on X, the other day wrote, "Why is MAGA's favorite word retard? Insightful answers only, please." And I want to read you some of the answers that people gave you why MAGA has embraced this word the way that they have, because they really have. I mean, if you go on X, every other comment is R word, R word, R word, R. It's very upsetting. Someone says they were told they couldn't use it as children, and now it feels like a declaration of freedom from social norms and basic humanity.
I buy that a little bit.
Someone else said, I think it's a dominance display to signal the end of liberal, feminine coded cultural power, which is sort of interesting. Mm-hmm. It was socially unacceptable to use the R word for so long that now these people feel they've been given permission. So every time they use it, they feel a tiny thrill of breaking a taboo. Someone else said that anything that liberals find offensive, like words that mock the most vulnerable among us, brings them glee. And then the last, it's considered a slur, but not quite enough that it's reputationally dangerous to use or get them censored by X or the FCC. So you're going right up to the line of how offensive you can be without having, getting fired from your job for using it or something like that.
I have another theory. You know that the way us queers have reclaimed that word and the F word, how we've owned that word for ourselves. I wonder if the MAGA people are owning that word for themselves in a sort of weird form of empowerment.
But the weird thing is that we use it as a happy thing, good thing, and they're using it to denigrate and
right.
to
can't reclaim that word. People with
be nasty.
Or
we're using it to try and uplift us.
Maybe they were accidentally and rather stupidly self-identifying.
I'm not going to use the R word. There, I said it.
Well, I basically I know that I don't always block them or mute them, but I do know to stop reading, because the minute I see an R word, I'm like, that person is.
That's a good way to use it.
They're a garbage person.
That's a good way to use it.
Yeah.
Stop reading, move on.
Yeah, they're a garbage person. I don't care about their opinion anymore if they use the R word.
Good. Number two. I suppose in the context of this show and the times we're in, we're all perhaps looking for somewhere else to go. Or that's me as I'm scrolling Instagram. I have become addicted to cheap Japanese houses. There is actually a website called Cheap Japanese Houses. You will not believe what you can buy for $3,000. An enormous house. Granted, it's not anywhere near Tokyo. It's in the middle of nowhere. Granted, it might have been built in 1960. Granted, it might not have air conditioning or heating, but it's extraordinary. In Japan, there are millions they call them akiyas. I'm probably doing a terrible job pronouncing it, but literally vacant, abandoned properties. There are millions of them, and some of them you can get for free. And they're even filled with stuff. They've just been literally abandoned.
If I'm asking you a question you don't know, I'm sorry, but can an American move to Japan?
Yes, you can. You can go buy them.
You can buy them and you can live there and you pay taxes and things like that?
Yep.
Okay.
So that it expedites the process of emigrating to another foreign country?
getting an akiya doesn't grant you residency or grant you nationality by any means, but it is possible for foreigners to buy these houses. And yes, you have to get, residency permission, but it's not impossible by any means. And in fact, anything that looks too good to be true probably is. And there are problems with these akiyas in terms of the state they're in and the way they were built, and the fact that, but it's an interesting fact that in Japan, old houses are not valued, and in the West, we think it's an old, here in the UK where I'm at the moment,
because they venerate old people in Japan. It is that's sort of interesting that that people are one thing, but houses are another.
Well, why are they empty?
Because of an aging population, and the younger people are either leaving the country altogether or moving to the big cities like Tokyo.
Well, and Tokyo is known for its cheap apartments as well. So I mean, as far as comparatively to London or New York, a Tokyo apartment. But I do want to say very quickly that there's very similar things in Italy where you can get the old chateaus for $1.
Yes.
I follow that as well. But also, like we learned with Detroit, where you can buy the house for $1 if you fix it up. And there are horror stories about that. You have to end up spending $3 million to get it up to code. Yes.
I mean, and with the Japanese houses, it's going to be potentially a language barrier, and it is a completely different culture, but it's still fascinating and potentially exciting. And James, in addition to sort of farmhouses in Italy, there's also like French chateau. I mean, it's like, oh gosh. And I think
what are we doing with ourselves? Why are we stuck in Los Angeles when we could have a chateau in the Loire Valley and a house in northern Japan and a place in Detroit?
There we go. Let's do it. I'm ready.
I am too. Let's go. I think that's our next Wow Presents Plus show is Fenton, Blake, James, and Tom fix up an Akito. What is it?
I'll be holding down the LA office, and you guys send me postcards.
All right, let's go. Let's go. We're going to have one more break, and we probably won't be back. We'll probably just have gone, left the country, emigrated, decamped, gotten our passports.
I got my hammer and my screwdriver, and I am ready to go.
Yeah. When we come back, the number one thing this week that made us go, wow.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. It's Fenton here with Tom and Blake and James. We've been counting down, as usual, the top 10 things of the week that make us go wow. Number one is here.
Number one.
I wanted to mention just very quickly as an upbeat note, a happy, good thing is that Gaga was at Coachella last week. She's there again tonight, and she rocked the house down. They say it was probably her best performance ever. They say it was probably one of the best performances at Coachella, up there with Beyonce's 2016 or 2019. What year was it? I can't remember. But that people have just been gushing about how she's back. This is a Gaga renaissance.
Have you? Well, we were talking great things about her last week, just from Saturday Night Live and her album. But did you? There was a simulcast. Did you see that?
No, I did go on YouTube and watch a number of them. Yes, because it was pretty spectacular.
But I didn't realize you could avoid all the dust and the porta potties and watch Coachella from your computer.
Yeah. It's called Couchella.
Couchella. Yeah, I did want to say there was something interesting that I noticed. She's been having this renaissance, and on the radio they play a lot of her older hits lately. She, like I said, like Paparazzi, Poker Face, and Bad Romance seem to be the top three that you hear over and over again with of her classics. There is one song that was a massive, massive, massive hit for her that is never played in 2025.
Born This Way?
What you want with my body?
No, Born This Way, because it's pro LGBT. Don't be a drag. Just be a queen. Whether gay, straight, or bi, transgender. The life you It's pro trans. It's pro LGBTQ, and you never hear it anymore, ever, ever, ever. And interestingly, when she was singing it at Coachella, people were saying, in the comment sections, it was, I was 14. I was struggling to come out. This song helped me so much. I'm 28 years old now. I heard it and I started crying. I don't hear it it's a song that means so much to the LGBTQ community, but anything that is pro-trans, pro-drag queen in 2025 is not getting airplay. And it's bizarre to think about.
She also, though, doesn't do telephone, does she?
No, and I wonder if that's I wonder what that
Beyonce
is
thing?
about. That's interesting.
I think it's because landlines are no longer.
Oh, well, I think that's all we got time for this week. It is Good Friday, so we have things to look forward to, like the resurrection on Monday. Yes, and
Sunday.
oh, you're right. It's Ascension. No, Resurrection Sunday. I'm not sure because wasn't it 3 days? Because
Are
I've
we
been
talking
reading
about Jesus, or are we talking
Yes,
about a Wow
yes,
TV
yes,
show,
yes.
Wow Presents show?
Good Friday was the crucifixion, right? And on the third day, he rose again.
Well, that would be Monday.
That's why I said Monday. But Tom's saying it's Sunday.
Not Easter Monday. We'll work on this and give you a full report on the next round.
Well, it was a very long-winded way of saying we've got things to look forward to. And some of the things to look forward to, it's never going to work. Never going to be
By
able
the
to land this.
Ascension, we have to look for. Yes, oh my God.
Maybe
Blake,
I
take
should
it
just-
all out.
Blake says we're over time, so maybe I should just leave it there. I probably won't be back next week. Thank you for listening to the Wow Report. And same time, same place next week, except for me, probably. In the meantime, go out and do something that makes the world go
Wow.
Wow.